interviewing Miss Samantha, manifestation, NLP, simple businesses, biz coach. I'm so excited to have her on this morning. So if you're watching the replay, make sure that you buckle up. Samantha's going to be coming on in just a second. I'm so excited. Here she is. Here she is. Okay. Hello, everyone coming on. Danielle. All my people in the house. Okay, here we go. Are you there?
Good morning, my love.
Good morning. Hello.
Hello, it's 5:30 here. I love that it's morning there, like that we're doing this. It's different time zones. That's like my favorite part.
I literally just woke up. I'm like, this is the most amazing way to start my day. Hi, Alyssa and people coming on. Right before we went live, Samantha, I stalked your Instagram and I was just like, I am so excited to have you on my IG live today, an interview about your story, hear what you do. Like, I love in your bio, it's like simple business coach. I totally vibes with that. You know, I love simple scales, complex fails. Like, the simpler the
Yes.
better. And even more so, I saw your video of you saying, like, you get to be all of you on social media, all of you as a coach, as a mentor, as a leader. And I just really love that, like, you don't have to show up a certain way. So I'm just so excited to have you. Do you want to introduce yourself and say who you are, what you do, and then I'll just start asking you questions and we'll have a nice riff here.
Perfect. I love that. And I love everything you do. I'm such a big fan, so I'm so glad to be here. I'm like buzzing. I love this. But I am Samantha, and I am a spiritual business coach. And I've been doing this now for over 2 years, which is so crazy. And I now live in California. I'm like looking at the sunset, which is so beautiful. But before this, I lived in New York City and I worked at Saks Fifth Avenue as a buyer, which was like any girl's dream, like at 25 who like loves fashion. Like I was like, this is perfect, but it's not my dream. Like I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. Like I used to have my parents buy me stickers and I would resell stickers to them off like a little Barbie like cash register. Like I was a con artist. Like a con artist. Like I literally was like, okay, you guys bought them. Now I'm reselling them for like $5 to guys. It was so bad. And so I love manifestation. I'm like obsessed with it. I actually found it like 8 years ago. And so I'm at this job in New York City. At one point I turned to my coworkers and I was like, we could just like start a podcast. And they were like, what are you smoking? Like, what are you talking about? And I was like, I'm different. That means I'm different than everyone. Like I knew it. So luckily, I think I manifested getting furloughed. It was the best day ever. Everyone was like, I'm so sorry. I was like, no, I'm starting my business. I know it. So first I like tried drop shipping. I was like, no, that's not for me. Always wanted to be a life coach. I saw someone my age who was making 6 figures, had a course. I bought it and I was like, this is it. Saks Fifth Avenue called me back. It all worked out. Thank God. 1 second. If you guys have any questions too, I would love to answer them. But yeah, if you guys have anyone in your family who does not understand, just keep going. Honestly, they don't have to understand. I think it's.
Am I back?
No. She's coming back. There we go. Here we go. We're back. We're back.
Okay.
What did you hear?
I could hear everything, and I heard you continue to go. I was like, yes, Samantha, keep us going.
Yes. So that's how I am here now. He still has no idea. I didn't tell my friends what I was doing for 3 months. I built the Instagram first, and then I slowly started coaching. now 2 years later, I'm like obsessed.
Yeah. You know, let me know if it goes out because I can change Wi-Fi's. It's
Okay,
skipping a little
perfect.
bit, but let me know if it goes out. But I was in New York City in 2017. Like, I don't know if we ever talked about this, but both living in New York City, and my roommate was a buyer too, not on Saks, but I forget what company she worked with. So I just totally resonate with you. Where were you living?
I was in the financial district. Wi-Fi, feminine financial coaching. I love that. How did you grow your page? So started as a station. Oh, good. I was answering a little question.
Go ahead, answer the question, and then we'll keep going.
She just said, how did you grow so fast? So it's crazy. I grew to 10K in 3 months. And that's because I started as a manifestation page. And I tell everyone this, I actually started as a quotes page. And so I was so scared of showing my face, but that didn't stop me from building my business. I did quotes for 3 months. And then I finally started showing my face. Now I'm all over the internet. It's hilarious. But I had a fear of being seen just like everyone else. So I started as a quotes page, and then I changed to coaching and like business instead of manifestation. And that's how I really started growing but I have so many tips and tricks for growing your Instagram.
You know, this is so fascinating how our lives parallel. Very similar to you. I had quit my job, was doing manifestation coaching, hated working with 9-to-5ers, and then I was like, I only want to work with entrepreneurs because I love my entrepreneur client. But this is just, I'm like, we need to meet up in person, or
yes.
When I'm in California, we need to hang out. This is too weird.
I want to come to Thailand though. That's like on my vision board, 1,000%. Yes.
We'll be out on the island.
I'll book it right now.
I can't believe this is the first time we talk like this.
I know.
So manifestation, switch to business, and then can you tell us about why NLP, why simple? Because that like really stood out in my bio. I was like, where does this come from? You love the simplicity in business.
Yes. So it's actually really funny because I went to Penn State. So I went to a huge party school. So the philosophy at this party school was we have to get our homework and our studying done so we can go out. Like literally it was work smarter, not harder. So I feel like I learned it from there. And what I also learned is that you don't have to do it in the best way. We weren't Harvard, we weren't blah, 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 but we were getting the same jobs as everyone. So I kind of learned like, it doesn't have to be done perfectly. It just has to be done. And like, you have to be the person to do it. And personality is also key. So I say I'm a lazy girl at heart. If I don't want to do something, I'm going to find the easiest way. All my clients are always like, I'm obsessed. My favorite thing about you is like, it is always easy. Like for me, I'm not going to do it. That doesn't mean I don't do the work. I do so much work, but it's fun and it's super easy. So that's where that came from. And then neuro-linguistic programming, I actually had already built my business, but I love the brain. Like I love psychology. I love learning like why people are successful, why they're not. And so I actually took that certification to become a better coach for my clients, but mainly because I was just like so interested in these tools. And I told this story on my Instagram, but like I peed the bed till I was 8 years old. And the only thing that worked was getting hypnotized. And so I learned, now I know hypnosis. I know that works so well. I use it on my clients, but it's just like in my toolkit that if they want these reprogramming techniques, I have it, but I really just love the brain and like studying people. So that's where that came from.
I'm so obsessed with that because I completely agree with you that simple scales, complex fails. Like everyone is like, you know, I was talking with a client recently and they said, I have a million things to do on my list today to build my business. And I was like, what the actual FMCK? Because I have like 3 and I'm making more money. So like, where is the disconnect here? So I love that you teach on that. And I love your story of Penn State. I went to Maryland. So we're like not even.
Oh my God.
Like we're, I know. Okay. So simplicity, NLP. I love that you're just obsessed with NLP and you're like, you know, I want to be a better mentor, a better coach for my clients, but also I just like, this is my jam. So what are some of the things that you've noticed as scaling your business to where it's at today what were some of the biggest challenges that you went through? Because I know people listening to this, whether it's on our IG Live or this will also be on our podcast and YouTube channel, what are some of the challenges that you've overcome and how did you overcome them to getting to where you are today?
I'm obsessed with that question. I feel like everyone watching, if you have a coach or something, you should be asking them this exact question. Like that's the question you should be asking your coaches to get the most out of it. I will say this time and time and again, I never believed when people were like, and I did believe, but I also was like, really? It's 95% mindset or it's 80% mindset, 20% strategy. They are right. I drink the Kool-Aid. This is completely right. Everything that I am like has been the biggest hurdle has been when I was starting out, my fear of being seen. Even now, like it took me up until 3 months ago to really go on TikTok, right? And that had nothing to do with, I know how to pick up a camera. I know how to record videos. I make reels. It had to do with a limiting belief inside me that I was nervous of people seeing me. And now I love myself so much. I'm like, who cares? And then the other part about this is like, for example, my podcast, like we say, like, it has to be simple. I was making my podcast out to be this like whole production where I was like, they just want to hear me speak. I was like, my biggest thing is I was like, I need to come up with like a jingle in the beginning, like a song.
Oh,
and then I was like, no, I don't. So I took that out. I just say like, hey, welcome back to the podcast. That's it. And so the biggest things that I had to like get over in the business is literally the mindset and figuring out a simple way. Because when it feels hard, my mind is like, we're not doing it. So as long as I find a simpler way, then we're golden.
You know, I'm obsessed with this conversation. I'm loving it so much. So I recently had a client say to me, you're going to love this story. She's like, how did you launch your podcast? And she's like, did you do like something with it? Like, was there a big production? And I was like, my boyfriend said, I want to start a podcast. And I said, that sounds like a fun idea. I'm going to do it too. And just started like uploading tracks, not even with a podcast mic, but with my cell phone of me like talking, and people love it because doesn't everybody skip through those first 15 seconds anyway to like the song?
Yes. This is what I always tell my clients to think like the client. So I thought like the client. I hate the song for in a minute. So that's why I got there. Yes. And then your podcast is perfect. Like I've listened to your podcast and I'm like, yep, this is it. That's all you need.
Yeah. Then I just need to know like what are they getting out of it? It's like a reel. Like when you make a reel and you're so good at making content, it's like, what's the hook? Like hook us in, give us the meat, give us the call to action. We don't need a 10-second. I love how you said jingle of like, welcome back to the Business Coaching Podcast. Like
literally. And like if you like doing that, good for you. But me, I'm just like, I need to get it out there or else it's never coming out.
You know, and I feel like that's kind of how I'm curious if that's how your whole business is built. I don't want to assume that. Like that level of just like, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to show up and make it happen.
Yeah. It's so funny because I will get this, like, obviously I have a lot of strategies in place. Obviously there is, but people will ask me strategies about things that I'm like, there's no strategy. Like it is literally, you guys think it's like this diabolical, like I will literally be on a walk and just start recording a reel. Like the content strategy, yes, there's a strategy to if I'm launching something at that time, but sometimes it's just, I have an idea and I pop it out. And I'm more of like, what moves the needle is doing it instead of all this planning. And planning is good and strategy is needed. And I know all the strategy, but you got to do it.
Oh my God. Amen. Amen. This feels like church this morning. This is like,
yes.
I woke up to the best conversation ever. I see Nina says, oh my God, my two fave freedom queens. Hi, Nina. Hello, hello.
I love it. Hello, gorgeous.
You know, yeah, so that what you're talking about, like how you drink the Kool-Aid, I love that because of the 80% energy, 20% strategy, because it's it's like, if you just believed in yourself and you move with 100% certainty, and obviously the doubt's still there, all the fears still come up, and you just moved for you, like you would skyrocket because no strategy can overtake who you are as a person. So how do you help activate that in people? Because I really do, like, full transparency. Some people just have it. Like they have the it factor inside of them somewhere, and it needs to be developed more. And then some people come out and they're just like, I get the game, I'm gonna show up, I'm gonna be confident, and they rock social media. But for that person that maybe has the it, but it's underdeveloped, how do you help activate that or find that within people? Because this is something I'm like obsessed with recently.
I love that. So there's a couple ways, but one of my favorite things that I tell my clients whenever they're like scared to do something, or they're not being their complete self, or they're not like showing up and it has a limiting belief behind it, I tell them, because this is how I kind of got out of my shell online. And I really sat there and I was like, I do not want to be on my deathbed thinking that I cared what Becky from high school said about my Instagram, or like who I was. Like, I want to be on my deathbed being like, I showed up and created a multi-million-dollar business, and there is nothing I could regret in this life. And so I think about that like a lot, and I'll show up as that person. And then the next thing I say to them, which I feel like I say to them all the time, is what would your next level self do? What would the six-figure, multi-six-figure, the $1 million, what would she look like online? How would she be acting? And that is really what gets them to be like, oh my God. And then I think the last piece of the puzzle is it's not that the strategy doesn't sell, but it's not the product, because there's YouTube, there's everyone selling the same product. It's you. You are the secret sauce. They're buying from you to learn from you. And so how can you be the youiest you and show up as your most authentic self? Like this, if you saw me in the street, this is, my friends are like, she doesn't turn it off. Like, she's just like this happy. Like, this is me. It's not like for the cameras. This is just like how I am. My clients see it. Like, this is just me. And so I think making you the youiest you is what sells. And so that's how I kind of get them to embrace this. Yeah.
What was that journey like for you? Because I love how you said I did all these quotes. Like, I was a quote person. And then you started showing your face. I totally resonate with the like being afraid to show face, the best friend Becky from high school, like all of those things. What was that like for you, from going from no face at all, quotes, to realizing I need to start showing my face, along with what you were just talking about?
Yes. And I think it's so funny because people think that fear of being seen is kind of like you don't like the way you look, which is not it at all. Fear of being seen for me came from, I was in New York, which is a 9-to-5 place. I was doing something very different. This just wasn't something that people did from Penn State or at the time. So it was more like showing up as different. And that's what I meant. And so I actually met with like a coach friend in the city, and she was like, just put up a picture. And so I literally remember I put up, and I still have it, one picture. I wrote, I have a big fear of being seen. This is me. I swear to God, you guys, if you're nervous about something, I did one picture and you never saw the last of me. Like, I was showing up everywhere. And then the other thing I have to say is all my friends have seen my accounts. I'll see my guy friends from college like lurking on my accounts. It is okay to block anyone who makes you feel uncomfortable. And they're not meaning to make me feel uncomfortable. I love them so much. They're my friends. But I don't go into their workplace at their like investment banking job and like watch them. So if you need to do something to show up as your youiest self in your work, do it. I think that people are like, I have to like be completely okay with everything. It's still a work in progress at any level. And so that's how I feel. But at this point, I'm like, back to my friend said something to me once that stuck with me forever. I was telling her about my podcast. I was like, I feel like it could be a little cringy. She was like, Sam, the Kardashians had a sex tape. They make billions of dollars a year, and they used to be the cringiest people ever. Now look who laughs at them. No one. And I was like, you're so right. I need to just show up as do what I want to do.
Yeah. Oh my God. I just saw Rachel put in the chat. Oh my God, thank you for saying that. Oh no. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
I hesitating to block my family. Yes. If you need to do it, girl, do it.
You know, it's so interesting because social media for us, it's how we make all of our money. Yes. And that's even a conversation that I've had to have with my partner, because he does, it's funny you brought up drop shipping. He's done drop shipping, affiliate marketing. He does all like behind the scenes running ads for companies. And when he works, it's all on the computer. It's all ad based. So it's very clear when he's working, versus me, because we can take our phones anywhere. social media is how we make our money. It can look like we're always on social media all of the time or on our phones, but that's because that is where our work is. So I'm curious, like, because let's say people from your college, they don't understand that. Maybe they're in tech or finance or whatever. They don't understand that social media actually is where they're making all their money, and they still see it as a place for consumption and like just regular users. So how do you navigate that? I don't actually believe in balance, but I'm going to use the word balance. Like balance in your life of working from your cell phone, being around friends who maybe don't have businesses like you do. Like, do you hang out with those people at all? I'm just curious on what that looks like behind the scenes for you.
Yeah, so I'm really blessed because in San Diego, I'm in California, there are people, there's influencers, there's bachelor people here, there's coaches, there's lifeguards, like there's bartenders. Like, it's not in New York, it was very like 9 to 5 or nothing, which is great for that place. But it's really helpful here to be what I am because it's not different, right? It's the same. But how I rarely go on my regular Instagram anymore. So that's one thing. Voxer, strict boundaries, 9 to 5. And then I also into, if I'm watching TV, I try and leave my phone upstairs. Or like the other week I went out to dinner with my friends and I left my phone at home. Like, I'm getting really into being present because I feel like that's when my manifestations come through. Like, that's a big thing that I tell manifestation. Like, I find my big manifestations come through when I'm not on my phone and I come back and I got like a sale came in or something. Yes. And so, but there are ways where I'm like, whoa, I've been on my phone a lot. And that's where I'll start implementing leaving it places so I can't even touch it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Emily. Oh, she said this is so amazing.
I'm obsessed. I'm like, I have to watch the time. Otherwise, I feel like I could just keep going on and on and on and on.
I know.
I think that's so important. And I can't believe you're in San Diego because I took a solo trip there right after I quit my job in New York City. And I was like, San Diego! Like, I'm obsessed. Like, this is so bizarre. But I really, really feel that because I've had to also for myself recognize, like, social media is where we make all of our money. And yesterday I had this revelation of most people in society, when they go on social media, they use it for consumption. And this is our place for making money, of serving our communities. So it's just like the total different perception, it's just, I think it's super, super fascinating. So if anyone's watching right now live with us and you have a question for Sam that you want to ask her here, put them in the chat. And then while we wait for some questions to come in, what are you working on right now in your business? What do you have available for my audience to work with you or learn about how they can get involved in your world?
Yes. So something that's coming in February, in February, because of you, is my membership. So I'm so excited for this. It is working behind the scenes right now. So you can follow me. You'll hear about when I announce it, but that's in the works right now. And all thanks to your program, I'm obsessed. And then how they can work with me right now is one-on-one coaching for 3 months, 6 months. I have Voxer days, which are unbelievable. I love my Voxer days. And then I also have my Dream Business Accelerator course. So this course has everything you need. I used to have like 4 courses. I compiled them all into one. That's going to be just like my baby. And I'm having, I have like probably like 8 people go through it right now and they're obsessed. And so, yeah, if you want to be in that, it has everything from Instagram growth, like people ask me, to manifesting, to selling, to authority, to branding, to everything that you need to really build out your business and scale it to 10K months.
Amazing. And we're going to put the link to your membership in the show notes. So if you're watching on YouTube or you're watching on the podcast, just click below to Sam's membership. And do you want to kick us off with Nina's first question here?
Yes. Okay. So I see. Okay. Have you ever had a hard pivot, like shutting down an old chapter to get to this new one? Great question. I was a coach, and what happened is I took my first 5 clients and people were asking me to like manifest a specific person. And I was like, I am so Like I'm not good at manifesting the love realm, but I'm really good at like helping these business, and that's who I loved working with, the business coaches and the entrepreneurs. And so that was my first hard pivot, basically saying niching down from manifestation, just do business coaching. And it was seamless. All you have to do is, honestly, I say this all the time, if you're going to pivot, take your audience with you so they're just not confused at all. And they love it. They'll be so happy for you. My next hard pivot, I would say, is going from, I had 4 courses, which I loved at the time, but I really just wanted one course that I could call my baby, that people could get these incredible results with, that everyone could know, and it was like a household course. And so this is my second pivot in my business, really going from having a lot of courses, which I still love, and I'll probably add more as I go, but to this, I really want to see how this one course does. So that was my other big pivot. But as for like shutting down, last year, and I'm very honest about this, I had bad seasonal depression and anxiety. I had that whole thing. I probably shut down for like 2 months unknowingly in my business. So glad that happened to me. I used NLP to get out of that, acupuncture, so many things. If you guys want to hear about that ever, just come into my DMs. I'm so glad that happened to me because I can relate to everyone online, and I get like what people go through now and like how it is crippling. But then I also get how that will never happen to me again, where I will shut down on my business. And so it's kind of cool that happened to me. I overcame it. I have the tools now, if I'm ever in that place, to be able to show up for my business. And yeah, I got my business for like 2 months, but not really. I was like kind of working, but I'll never do that again, honestly. Okay, so what offers did you start with? Can you share a little bit about the beginning? So the offers that I started in the beginning was one-on-one coaching, and then I started this month of manifesting. And it was $27, and it was a whole month of manifesting with me. I just ran it again for the second time, like ever. Yeah. And it was so good. People were getting the craziest results, found their exact wedding dress, they found houses, apartments, it's so fun. And that taught me that I still have clients from that who are my one-on-one clients from that month of manifesting. So I started with that, then a mini course, the Instagram course, how to grow your Instagram. And I still have all these courses if anyone wants them. They're amazing. What's your advice for growing on IG? Stay consistent. It's not about hashtags. Those are great. It's not about changing up your content. It's literally about, I was a crazy woman and I was posting 3 times a day. I still post twice a day, but it's really about that consistency. You never know when you're going to blow up. There's a girl in my certification who apparently for 2 years she was posting and had only 3,000 followers. One of her reels went to like 1 million followers, and she now has over 100,000. So keep going. You never know when the snowball is going to happen. Once the snowball happens, they just keep coming. But my other advice is it doesn't matter how many followers you have, truly, if you're looking for sales. How did you stagger your offers and I hate that word, prioritize your time creating content and other business and work tasks? So I stagger my offers by my client journey. So what do they need to get to 10K months? And that's basically how I stagger. They need to learn how to do Instagram. That's how I did it. Then they need to learn how to sell to their audience. Then I need a money mindset course and of course on courses, because then they want to learn how to make passive income. So that's how I stagger them. And then how I create content while having work. So easy, you guys. I am a multitasker. So I record myself like making my bed or like putting up the curtains. Or I will you can use your actual content. If you have a carousel, that is the script for a reel. Like you can literally reuse all your content all the time. Yes, it's so easy. It's so fun. And then other than that, I just listen to podcasts and get inspiration, honestly. Every time I listen to a podcast, I have downloads, ideas for content. If you're in a content rut, listen to consume. You're not consuming enough. You need to listen to other people's lives, their content and stuff like that. And not reuse, but it'll help you like really get those juices flowing. Do you wait until you gained a certain following or had a social media presence before launching a product guide coaching lessons? My journey was I did. If going back, I wouldn't have. My journey I decided like I'm going to grow this Instagram as far as I can in the beginning and then sell something to them. In hindsight, now I know you don't need a big audience. Like if you have that connection with your audience, you could have 1,000 people and make $1 million. It is about and having content and the content that we have. Breaking up. Can't hear. You guys hear now?
We just. I don't know if it's my Wi-Fi or your Wi-Fi now, but
I know,
you're
right?
breaking up a little bit, but I can still hear you.
Oh, okay. Did you hear everything? Do you think that was good?
Yeah, I can still hear you. It's just sometimes your face doesn't go with it, but I didn't know if it was mine or yours. And I'm just like, I'm here with you.
It could
I'm not
be
going anywhere.
mine. It could. We'll move us over a little. Oh, look at it. That's nice. There you go. Hopefully that works.
There we go.
Perfect.
Yeah, Sam, I have loved this conversation with you. Like literally, what a joy to wake up in the morning and just have this. I can't believe this is our first time ever talking and just hearing about your class. I'm like, we got to meet up in real life or do something. And I, of course, have loved having you in the headquarters. From the first time I met you, I was like, this woman's on to something. Like you are about to blow up. February, like the rest of this year, I just see you as such an icon, and I'm like, this is going to be a massive year for you. So thank you for coming on and doing this interview, and this will be shared on all my platforms as well.
Thank you so much. I'm obsessed with you. Everything you're doing, you have helped my business tremendously. And I can't believe I found you. I feel like I'm late to the Bridget game. And I'm like, everyone's obsessed with you. I'm like on the bandwagon. I'm like, why can't I be one of the first? But you are like just an inspiration and everything you're doing. I'm like changing the industry though, for real. Like, I'm like, this is what we need. Someone like you.
Oh my God. Literally, you're making my whole day. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for coming on and what you put in the chat. If you're watching the replay of this, click below for Samantha's membership. That should be available. That's an evergreen program, right? So people can enroll whenever.
Yes. I'll give you the link like tomorrow to put in there, so they'll have it.
Cool. Well, thank you, Sam. I know that we'll catch up in the DMs, but this was amazing, and thank you everyone for coming.
Yes. Thank you, Bridget.
Bye, Sam. Bye.